So, Chris tagged me in his video to talk about my top 10 favourite collectibles that aren't Funko Pops, and that's going to be relatively easy for me because I don't have any Funko Pops bar this one. Batman, Haley the Tiny, hello Haley if you're watching, she bought me this one. The reason that I don't have any of these is not because I don't think they're cool. They are, some of them are fantastic. The problem being is I remember the great Beanie Baby massacre of the 1990s, where people invested their pension funds collecting Beanie Babies, only to find out in a matter of years later that they're worthless. Many a Beanie Baby you'll see homeless in the streets of Belfast. It's a tragedy. But that's why I don't collect Funko Pops. I think they're a short-term thing. It's fine if you don't want them for an investment. Not everything has to be, not everything is. I don't invest in anything, comics or otherwise, but for me, that's the reason I stay away from these. But anyway, I digress. Top 10 collectibles that aren't these. So I'm going to start with something that's been in a video of mine before. As a kid, my favourite toys were Mask, Mobile Armoured Strike Command. I loved these then. I got these when I was 5 years old the first time. I still love them now. These have become exceptionally expensive to get, especially in a box form. This one is by no means mint, but it's as close as I'll come to owning a mint one. This is Rhino. I owned this actual toy as a child, and it's brilliant for me to have it back now. It's just full of nostalgia every time I look at it. So that's number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with autographs. I collect autographs through the mail. I also recently have started collecting autographs at cons. It's just something about having a signature from somebody famous. It's hard to explain. It's just, you know, it's ain't got a page, but something about it just really clicks with me. So I've just gone through some of the favourites. These are Star Wars. The late Kenny Baker as R2-D2. Then we have Jeremy Bulloch as Boba Fett. I got that one signed in person. Dave Prowse as Darth Vader. Stevie, may the force be with you. Darth Vader, David Prowse. And then another one from through the mail, Ray Park as Darth Maul. So that's my Star Wars villain collection. I have folders worth of them, and it's something that I've stopped doing for a little while. So actually doing this has put me in the mood, looking through has put me in the mood to do some more autographs through the mail requests. So I'll maybe do a video about that, how to go about it. It's a bit complicated with international postage and stuff, but it's a video to look at in the future. So what's that? That's 9. Number 8, I'll go with, this is a frame poster for, oh sorry, that's my PC, sorry, no, it exploded about 2 minutes ago. That's a frame poster for the Folk book series by an author here from Belfast called Lawrence Donachie. I read Lawrence's books and started to tweet about them. Lawrence and I became quite friendly on Twitter. Well, I say I'm friendly with him, he probably thinks I'm a twat. But he signed this for me at his second book launch for Folk. And it's just a really cool thing to have. The Folk trilogy is probably, apart from Lord of the Rings and a couple of Stephen King books, my favourite books. So it's quite awesome to have this. It's not the last book thing to feature too. There's something else coming along later on. But that's number 8. Number 7. It's hard to know what way to look at these. Number 7. I'm married. You'll be shocked to hear that. My wife has zero interest in comics, collectibles, movies, anything other than seals. Basically, she runs a seal sanctuary in Wexford. But sorry about that. But our wedding anniversary was coming up, and it was our iron anniversary. And gentlemen, as you know, you repeatedly ask your wife what they want. Oh, I don't mind, I don't mind. So this year I decided, well, if you don't mind and you won't tell me what you want, I'll choose your anniversary gift for you. And it was, let's not forget, our iron anniversary. So I got her this. This was expensive. It's probably one of the more expensive items I own. I think it's the, I'll just trying to see which one it is. It is the Kilbara, I think, Iron Man statue. I don't really know, can't remember. But yeah, so for my wife's and mine's Iron wedding anniversary, she got Iron Man. I'm still not sure she's very pleased, but I am, and it looks good. So there we are, that's Iron Man. I'm losing track of numbers here. What am I on? 7, 6. I'll go with signed comics. Now, you can see round me and the video before this that I have a huge collection of signed comics. That's not me bragging, it's just something I'm really into. It harks back to the autograph thing. Just to have creators' autographs on books is spectacular to me. In particular, I love multi-signed books. If I can get a book signed by the artist, the colorist, the letterer, the writer, everybody, I'll do it. This one is my favourite though. I assaulted John McCrae at Dublin Comic Con about 3.5 years ago with a massive pile of comics, and I mean, I must have had 40 books. And John McCrae, God love him, sat there and signed every one for me. He was the first creator I met in real life in comic books, and since then I've met so many others, and like every walk of life, there are good guys and there are bad guys, and if I'd have met some of the assholes that I've met since meeting John McCrae, I don't think maybe I would have been as much into comics again as I was. But John's an absolute gentleman. He happens to be the author on, the artist on one of my all-time favourite comic book runs, and that's Hitman. And this is Hitman #1. It's signed by John McCrae and Garth Ennis. Fantastic series if you haven't checked it out. Probably the best comic book series ever set in Gotham. And I know that's quite a tall standard when you think of some of the Batman books, but Hitman is an absolute joy to read. If you haven't read it. So that's Hitman. Yeah, I have no idea what number I'm on. I'm going to stop saying numbers. I'm embarrassing myself now. Just if you're counting along, that's good. We'll go with the next book item. Again, this isn't exactly strictly comic related, but it does have comic ties. To me, anyway. The crime author, I suppose you could call him that now. His books are police procedural with a twist, a supernatural twist to them. James Oswald. This is Prayer for the Dead, and I think it's about maybe, is it his 5th? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the 5th in the Inspector McLean series from James Oswald. These are amazingly exciting books to read. As I say, they're crime fiction with a supernatural twist, and a very good supernatural twist as well. James is a brilliant author. Again, I connected with him through Twitter, talking about the books. And James Oswald is a huge comic fan. His collection's quite impressive too. And through talking to James, my love of comics was sort of fueled again, and it made me seek out more 2000 AD stuff that James Oswald had written for 2000 AD. But that's the book. That's not the item. The item is this. I would go to cons and I would get multiple copies of books signed, and I'd send some to James. And as a thank you for doing that, James sent me this, which is the original manuscript for the book that I just held up, Prayer for the Dead. So this is the original manuscript before the book was then printed, and that's pretty awesome to own. It says on it, Stevie, happy Christmas, thanks for all the comics, James Oswald. So this is pretty special to me. I keep meaning to get around to getting it framed, but I haven't managed to do that yet. But that's on the cards. I love having this around. Just it was so thoughtful of him to do it. So thank you, James, if you're watching. We'll go with Andural. This is United Cutlery version of Aragorn's sword from Lord of the Rings, forged from the shards of Narsil. This is an absolutely beautiful reproduction of the Aragorn sword from Lord of the Rings. weighs an absolute ton. It's not sharp, it isn't, but if it was, you could easily take someone's head off with this. This isn't one of the cheap knockoffs, this is the actual official movie. It's got gold inlay, real leather handle, the gorgeous elven runes down the blade. I absolutely love this. If this house was to go on fire, not for insurance purposes, this would be one of the first things that I grabbed, mostly to protect the hordes of my neighbours trying to steal my stuff. But no, this would be one of the things I would take with me. I don't have a clue how many things I've done. This is annoying. One of my earliest toys, and still one of my favourites. It's Astro Wars from Grandstand. This must be going on, I think, easily maybe 30 years old. Could be, yeah, 30 years old. It still works. I could still have a game if I wanted now. Before home console games, this was the height of technology. I'm amazed it still works. It means a lot to me to have this around. I played this for hours as a kid. Months of my life, years maybe, were spent playing Astro Wars. You pick them up, they go for about 80 or 90 quid now. They're not that expensive, but as video games go, it's pretty cool for me still to have that. Next, another statue this time. I need to be very careful with this. This is Bowen Designs Wolverine statue. 142 of 3,500. The reason this one is so special to me is that when Mel and I, my wife, were in New York, just after we'd been married about 2 years, I queued outside Jim Hanley's Universe from 4 o'clock in the morning because they were having a sale, and I went in and I bought this. It was -17 and it was worth it. This Wolverine statue is fantastic. This isn't the one I bought in Jim Hanley's Universe. No, the reason that is I brought it home, survived the flight, sat on my mantelpiece for 6 years, and then the mirror that I'd never bothered to fasten properly on my wall fell down and took the Wolverine statue with it. And unbeknownst to me, Mel knew how upset I was by it, and she arranged to get me another identical statue. So out of 3,500, I've owned 2 of these, but it's an absolutely beauty of a statue. Wolverine by Bowen Designs. So then, I think I'm on my last. This must be number 1. It is number 1 to me anyway, this one. This is my master replicas lightsaber. The hours of fun that I've had with this and will continue to have throughout my life. At the time, I wasn't sure just which master's replica lightsaber to go for, and I went for Luke's. From episode 5 and and Empire Strikes Back, who then of course went on to become Anakin's lightsaber in the prequels, and now has become Rey's lightsaber, and she's reaching it to back to Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens. So I really couldn't have gone for a better lightsaber, I don't think. I still try and make the noise with it, even though it makes its own noise. So yeah, that's my favourite of all of my collectibles. Again, as an adult, I've had hours of pleasure with this. I probably shouldn't have, but yeah, there we go. So that's my top 10, 11, 15, 36, I don't know how many collectibles. Apparently I collect a lot of shit, but don't know how to count very well. Thanks for watching. If you've got a video of your collectibles, I'd love to see it. It's always fun to look at what other people have. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and if anyone could just take the time to teach me to count to 10, that'd be lovely. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.